right. Oh man. Let's wait for some people to jump in the stream. See what we got. All right. What's that first down? Let some people jump back in. It's I've had it happen before. I've had it happen before. What's up, Gary? Welcome to the stream, dude. Good to bet you what's up, Big Drox? Good to see you, cuz. Um, you know, it was the feed was cut. But again, that's how you know you're winning. And that's how you know that they're trying to silence you because they're not worried about us spreading corona. They're worried about us spreading the truth. And that's what they're worried about the most. And so things like this are more dangerous than corona because the message that people are spreading on YouTube and on social media is how we're all going to have to learn and we're all going to have to fight back because it's gotten to this point because patriots have not been vigilant enough in protecting the Constitution. We haven't been vigilant enough. There's been a lot of people who have been hollering about this and a lot of people who've been sitting on the sidelines. Well, there's nothing I can do. There is something you can do. I mean, I tried to ask myself, what can I do? What can I do? Well, this is what I do. I'm what you call a digital soldier, right? And every soldier is sacrificing something. And I am too. So yeah, I did see first down. Seen that A-bomb is ready to wave the white flag, but anybody waving the white flag on America right now is not a patriot. Don't wave that white flag with A-bomb. If you're watching this stream, do not wave that white flag because this is not over and this is no time to jump off because once you jump off, it's hard to get back on and then say, well, I never meant to get off in the first place. You might as well go down with the ship, go down with the fight, go down swinging because that's what real patriots do. That's what real fighters do. They go down swinging. You know, Kamala Harris say, "Oh, we're gonna take your stuff." Well, I'll die in the door jam because I'm not gonna go down on my knees. That ain't me. I'm not afraid to die. I love this country. I love this country a lot. And I don't have any kids, but I got family members and I got friends that have young children. And I want those kids to enjoy and love and respect the same things about this country that I have and that I do. You know, I hate it when I see our military kids go off to war. I see it a lot where I live, a lot. And I see some of them don't come back. It's prevalent in my town, you know. It hits home because it's real. You know, I see the families that are standing at the airport on the local news here, just waiting for daddy to get off the plane. Sometimes daddy don't get off the plane, you know? And it's worse during the holidays because, you know, in the past we've had a lot of young soldiers all over the world overseas, and Trump has brought a lot of those kids home. And they're so thankful to be here because around your wife and children is exactly where you should be as a man, as a father, as a head of your household. Not off fighting for something that is not threatening our country or a manufactured, made up proxy war for a rich man to get richer. And you don't want to tell or talk to any of those kids in the military about that, because I don't want to discourage them for all of the effort that they're sacrificing and giving to all of us, because they're sacrificing a lot and they're giving us all a lot of effort, everything they got. And the last thing I want to tell them is that, well, while you're over there, you're actually not fighting for freedom. You're fighting for a rich man to get richer, a corrupt man to be more corrupt. And now you see Trump even wanting to bring home more troops, and they're trying to stop him from doing that. Because the Democrats, even though they want to claim they're peaceful people, they're the ones that love the wars. And that's exactly what Hillary was going to do, is getting us in plenty of wars, especially with North Korea. I mean, you don't even hear about that little pipsqueak in North Korea anymore. But when Obama was there, I mean, every other day, he's got his finger on a nuclear weapon that he's about to launch over here. And then Trump went to South Korea and stepped over the border. You know why? Because Donald Trump has balls the size of church bells. You know, the world is a very complicated place. It's very corrupt. It's very deep. Its powers going back thousands of years. And it's hard to understand. It really is. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy. It consumes your life to really want to know the truth. Because there's no possible way anybody can know the truth with even just 1 hour of study a day. You can know some things that you're like, I know that's not true, but you really can't figure out the big picture of everything that's going on, even just putting in an hour a day. I mean, trust me, because I've done it. I've done it for 16 years, 14 years at 4 hours a day. And do I have days? Oh, you don't go every single day. Yeah, I do. I do. I go every single day. Now, are there days I miss? Yeah. I mean, if I'm hunting or whatever, I don't put in 4 hours of study that day. But there's plenty of times when I do 6. Hell, I haven't left my house today. All I do is research stuff. So it's almost like it's all day long for me. It's everything that I think about is what's happening, in this crazy world. And it's super complicated. And there's a lot of dirty deals and dirty dealings and back alley shady stuff that's been done forever on both sides. That's really hard to understand, because that black box hanging on the wall, that TV, that news media, it's a powerful weapon. It's really powerful. It's extremely powerful. It's an easy way to control a country's thinking. And then when you couple that with things like Facebook, where you can censor certain things, or promote certain things and hide certain, suppress certain things, and Google, and you have these alphabet soup companies that are able to twist the knobs and the dials, so to speak. When you put that on social media, which is really a CIA weapon, I mean, it really is, on top of just regular news media, you create an environment that becomes easy to trick somebody's brain, to trick them, right? I mean, you do. So you have to be really careful what you let your eyeballs look at. Because there is a play to make it look one way when it's really another way. And you see that in ads, and you see it in all kinds of things. They're very good at it. They're very good. And you got to give them that. I mean, you really got to give them that. But when Trump says that, the fake news media, the fake news, and you guys are super fake news, But when he says that, it's the truth. But bigger than that is when he says the mainstream media is the biggest threat to the American people. He wasn't lying. That is the truth. They are the biggest threat because the mainstream media has something that is so powerful. They have the microphone, they have the mute button. And when you have a microphone and a mute button, you can control the conversation to where no one else can hear what's happening. And we've seen that happen several times when a live stream or a feed or an interview just gets cut off because the conversation, we saw it happen on, I don't know, was it CNBC, where somebody brought up the name George Soros, and the next thing you know, the whole conversation went sideways. I believe it was Newt Gingrich who brought up that name, and boy, it spun the network out of place, and they were listening to their microphones and their puppet masters, and next thing you know, the feed was cut and it never even showed up on the mainstream media, but it was all over the internet. But the average person is not watching that, right? They're over here watching funny TTC videos just like you and I are. Maybe they're dabbling in a little conspiracy theory stuff, or seeing somebody's other opinion, or looking at voting fraud, or you might be into race cars or something. But you only have so many watch hours that you have time for in life to let your eyeballs look at something on YouTube. That's why I appreciate you guys here with me tonight, because your eyeballs are valuable, your ears are valuable to me, and what you could be doing a million other things right now than listen to what I have to say. A million things, right? But you're here with me, and that's great, because I'm not here to preach. I'm just here to try to help everybody understand what's about to happen and give you confidence that this is going to happen. This is going to happen, and nothing can stop this. So, um, the people who go say, oh, let me go look at Q. Let me go follow. You can't understand Q in an hour. You couldn't read every single post he's ever made and understand what's happening in an hour. You couldn't read every single post he's ever made, gone back and checks against the calendars and how he proved himself and how valid and everything was, just worked out perfect. You couldn't do it in a month, and you couldn't even learn it all in 6 months. You couldn't learn in 6 months if you had a video tutorial of somebody showing you what to do. This is something you have to have been involved in from the very beginning and understood what the writings mean, because it doesn't always look like what it's supposed to look like. And that's all I can tell you without really confusing you. But what I can tell you is someone who has followed every single post that he's ever produced, or she, or whoever this person is, since 2017. I've read, gone inside the numbers, done the research, clicked every link, listened to 4 or 5 different people tell me their theory on what this post means and how they linked it together and why they linked it the way they did. Basically sell me on what he meant right here, what Q calls anons. I'm not one of the nons. I'm just one of the information warriors trying to decipher the information and then doing my part as a digital soldier to get out here on the battlefields and talk about it with everybody else, and hope that, maybe a few people could start to see that they've been tricked and things are not what they look like. So all I can tell you is that Q has told us, do not worry. The Patriots are in control. We have the playbook. The Patriots are in control. We have their playbook. We know what they're going to do. We know the moves they were going to make. And nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing. You're watching history go down right before your very eyes. And man, is it going to be glorious to finally get this country back on the right track. Because it's going to be good for not only everybody in this country, but it's going to really be good for everybody in the world. because it'll start to set a precedence and show what America is about. That as soon as you think America is on its last leg, taking its last breath, bloodied and battered, the eagle will fly. And America will prevail. And freedom will prevail. And I think when other countries see that this is the way it's done, then hopefully we can start to where we can start rooting out more of this evil and make this a better world for all of us to live in. A more fair world, because it is unfair, but make it a more fair world. There's so much lying and stealing and corruption going on. You know, when Trump talks about, when I get reelected, that payroll tax holiday for anybody making under 150,000, we might just extend that forever. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see all Americans who make under $150,000 a year have no taxes, right? And we can afford to do that. If you take all of the money that's being stolen and misappropriated and laundered and funneled into fighting proxy wars, and we use better trade deals, we don't need a federal income tax. We don't need it. It can be done. All we have to do is clean up the corruption and keep people from stealing. That's all that has to happen. Trump's no saint. Trump's a sinner. Trump's a son of a bitch. But that's exactly what our country needed. We needed somebody that would punch you in the nose and tell you what's what. And whether people like his style, like what he says, liked how rude he is, because he is all of those things, right? He's all of those things. But we needed somebody like that. We needed somebody that wasn't going to take no crap. They were going to stand up to this press. They were going to stand up to the bully. They were going to stand up to the bully and take down the swamp, just like King David stood up against Goliath and put on the full armor of God and destroyed him. Just like George Washington took all of these bullets and never dripped a drop of blood and somehow miraculously crossed the Delaware while his troops of guys who didn't even have uniforms wearing cowboy hats and flip-flops shooting Red Ryder BB guns are watching our boy go over in a rowboat against all of these ships, passing, insurmountable odds. And it happened on Christmas Eve. You know what else happened on Christmas Eve? The creature from Jekyll Island. Y'all know what that is? Listen, if y'all don't know what the creature from Jekyll Island is, there was a book written by his name A.G. Edwards or something Edwards. I think it's A.G. Edwards or E.G. Edwards. Anyway, Jekyll Island's a real place. Little island off the coast of Georgia. And all of these bankers from the Rothschild and Rockefeller families and powerful families, rich, corrupt people, they got together and had a secret meeting. And the secret meeting was to figure out a plan to take control of the monetary system in the whole world and go have Congress give it to them, which is exactly what happened. So their plan worked. But this secret meeting between all of these people, this collusion that happened on Christmas Eve. So people say, when did the deep state start? In America, I think in 1913 on Christmas Eve. I think that's where it really started. And I really think that, obviously the corruption and stuff had been around since medieval times, all the way Persian and Roman empires. All of that money trickled down and ended up in the same, family's hands. And so it's always been there. But the big corruption of running paper fiat money Ponzi schemes, right, all over the world started on Jekyll Island on Christmas Eve. So when you looked at Trump's, crossing of the Delaware against those, the dragon that he was fighting at the time, it didn't look like GW even had a chance. Just like it doesn't look like Trump even has a chance. But at the end of the day, the it's going to rise. It's going to rise, and the information's going to come out. And Trump's going to go down as I actually think if he takes down this deep state, he's going to go down as the greatest president in the history of this nation. And then beyond that, I really believe that his next goal is going to be to kick the federal banks literally right in the knees. And if he does that, he'll have freed humanity more than just this country, because that is where the real evil is. The money is the root of all evil. The bankers are the root of all wars. So I think that's the big goal in the future. And let's hope that that's so, because, man, even the people that don't know what's good for them, the left, they don't realize how great of a thing this will be when he does this. But the first step is to, oust this corruption, these politicians and the things that they've done and been involved in. And then as we dig deeper into the crimes and the evidence that we have already, we have it and it's going to come out. That's why Trump is so confident. That's why he calls people names, because he has the Trump card, right? Look, if I have some information or pictures on you that you may not know that I have, and it's got you in very bad position, I can call and say and do whatever I want to you, no matter how it looks to all my voters, if I know I got the goods. He's got the goods. And when you got the goods, you can be a little cocky, you can be a little arrogant, you can be a little forceful, and Trump is certainly all of those things naturally. Also a big ego, a narcissist, really, if you want to really get down to it. I mean, he is, but I think those are all great traits of all good leaders, CEOs of companies, right? I mean, those are traits that you have to have. I mean, there's some parts of me that are that way. But, that's just traits in DNA that one man was born with that another man wasn't born with. And that's why the world needs all people, because it takes all kinds of people to make the world go round. I mean, if liberals didn't collect trash, who's going to do it? Oh, well, hang on a minute. I grabbed my iced tea. So, I expect big things to happen here in the next few days. I think key dates for me are everything between the 17th and the 24th for a couple of different reasons. But, if nothing big happens on the 17th, I'm not too worried about it. But I do think something's going to happen before Christmas, something big. I mean, I can feel it bubbling. And then, what a perfect time. Everybody's home, families are together, a place where people are going to be able to talk about it, right? Because they're not in restaurants or at bars, they're in the house with each other. And this information comes out, and then that word starts to spread. I mean, I think that there's a way to take advantage of that situation, and I think Trump is going to. And I think that if he can't win this by proving fraud with the evidence that's already been out that nobody wants to look at or acknowledge, I think the Executive Order 2018 is going to come into play. And when that does, I think the military is going to get involved, and Joe Biden's not going to have anybody that's behind him. So you can say you're the president, all you want. You can have a fake swear-in on national TV with all the, everything, all the people and the celebrities and the big show, all you want. The newscasters on your side, all you want. Put your hand on that Bible and swear yourself in and say all the things you're supposed to say on January 20th. What I want to see is you go sit down in the Oval Office at the White House. Drag Trump out. I dare you to. And until I see them boot Trump out of the White House or escort him off the property in handcuffs like they say they're going to do, and I see Joe Biden sit down, I won't believe it until I see that. Because I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. These questions about Hunter's involvement with a lot of things, they're not going to go away. They're going to accelerate. And these protests that are happening by these restaurateurs and these people that are fighting back against Cuomo and de Blasio in New York and Gretchen Whitmer, and, you know, even here in Colorado with our liberal, worthless governor, Jared Polis. People are starting to fight back. Because let's remember how this was all started. It's a 2-week lockdown until we flatten the curve. And then that went, well, we've come this far. We might as well go much farther until we've got a vaccine. And now we have a vaccine and the lockdowns are even getting stiffer. Right? You see what's happening? Was this about the virus or was this about the election? Because it's a perfect cover. It's a perfect play. The overall deaths in America for the last 10 years has not changed. So if we have this pandemic that is so ridiculously deadly, how come the numbers aren't skyrocketing? They're not. They're not. And they haven't been, and they're not gonna. And this is the final bullet that the left has fired, is to sell the fear. They've shot their last bullet. And the only thing they got left to do is to keep pushing this fear, and that fear gets diminished every single day, because every single day somebody in this country says, you know what? I'm not wearing this mask anymore. And then the next person sees some more information. I'm not wearing this mask anymore, and I have to go open my business because I got to feed my family. And when they lose control of that, it's over. And that's in the book, The Art of War by Mao. Do not interfere with your enemy when they are in the process of destroying themselves. And right now, the deep state is in the process of destroying themselves. So you let them destroy themselves. You keep releasing this information, and you drip them to death. We have caught them. They know they're caught. That's why, without even any electors certifying enough votes for Biden to win it all by himself with 220, he comes out and gives an acceptance speech and then has the gall to talk about rigged and corrupt elections, or what do you say? I can't remember exactly anyway. I mean, the man is a fraud. He's a fraud. And Trump is a true patriot. He's not been a good guy his whole life, but I care what he does for this country, for the masses, and I care what he does going forward. And it's a shame that things are the way they are in this country, and that people are led to believe one way when it's really another way in this country. It's a shame that it's that way, but it is, and it's real, and it's something that, you know, it's never going away, and we have to be vigilant, because if you don't, then you end up Banana Republic or a third world country. You end up that way, and we're not there yet. The final chapter of America has not been written. Joe Biden hasn't done anything. I won't even call Joe Biden the president the day he's sworn in. I'm letting y'all know that right now. After you see him get sworn in on national TV, and he's officially, supposedly the president, I still don't recognize him as the president. He's the president when Donald Trump either leaves the White House on his own, or they go in and they drag him out forcefully and arrest him, and Joe Biden is in the Oval Office. That's when he's the president. Or if Trump concedes, which he won't do. Under those three circumstances, that's the only way he's the president. So the day of the inauguration of swear-in means nothing to me. The day that they, certify these votes in the Electoral College means nothing. The only thing that is that's a good day, because now we've actually got people to step in the pile of shit. They've committed the crime. They've certified those votes. That's exactly what we want them to do. Certify them. Because now you've committed a crime, and that crime is treason. If we're able to prove that they did what they did, and I think we can. I mean, they have the forensics audit of the Dominion voting machines. You saw the software company, their logos were on. Now they've removed them. Voting machines being destroyed. I mean, all this information is documented. We're not seeing it all. Believe me, they got mountains of it. And we're not able to see it because you don't let everybody know what your case is until you're ready to go try it. Right? You're not going to give your opponent an extra advantage of letting them know what you got. And the one thing that they don't count on is the Trump card, because Trump has a Trump card. And it's going to get played, and it's going to be a big one, and it's going to hurt. It's going to hit like a 50-pound jackhammer. It is going to hurt. So I'm just enjoying watching what's going on. I mean, I don't think you should get too wrapped up or too disappointed in the news saying, yeah, well, there's just no chance, or get wrapped up in Mitch McConnell saying, yeah, Joe Biden's the president, and the reason I did is because I think it's just best for everybody that we move on. No, this nation ain't moving on. And this isn't just me. There's 80 million people behind me. You saw them all for yourself on TV. You've seen him for a year. You see him at every rally. You saw him at the Million Man March in Washington, D.C. You saw the big rallies. You've seen the flags. You've seen the support that he has. This is not just me talking. This is a big, big group of people that have energy and a rally behind one man. Joe Biden ain't got that. Go look at even how many Biden's followers has on Twitter, or even how many comments that he gets that are even positive. He doesn't have the kind of support you think that he has. The only reason you think you have a lot of support, if you're a liberal, you voted for Biden, is because the news media has told you. But what a convenient way. Oh, well, we can't have rallies because we're mask wearers over here. We're going to obey the rules and the law. We're going to wear masks. It's patriotic. This isn't political. This is a patriotic thing to do. Fuck out of here. It's sick what has happened. It really is. It's sick. But a trap has been set because Trump is too smart of a game player not to set the trap. Believe that the trap has been set. The military is behind him, and that's why he exudes the confidence that he does. He ain't frazzled. He ain't talking about leaving the White House. His tweet yesterday says the fight's just begun. It just started. Buckle up. My man ain't going nowhere. And there ain't nothing y'all gonna be able to do about it. He is going nowhere, and you won't be able to do nothing about it. Nothing. You have no military to go remove him. You don't have it. You won't have the support. He's got too much support for you to go do that. And you know it. He knows it. The whole world knows it. So I think it's going to be a wild ride, man. It's going to be fun to watch unfold because it's a major milestone. This isn't just another 4-year election. This is something, this is a whole different animal. This is way different. And this is bigger than all of us, and it's bigger than the Supreme Court. This is going to come down to the United States military, and they are going to show you the power they have like never before. And law and order, freedom, honesty, integrity, and elimination of corruption, all these things are going to be restored in this country. And Trump's going to be the one who did it all. And the liberals ain't going to like that. But it's going to be interesting to see that when this information does come out, you know, if people like Uncle Goo, you know, Uncle Foo, Uncle Pooh, whatever that clown's name is, if people like him, after this evidence comes out, if he still is going to take his position, Trump's a jerk, Zionist, it's going to be fun to watch them, because as more information comes out over the months after Trump gets back in the office, and over the months and years, that message, that hot air that you're blowing, it just gets diminished every single time. It's just like me trying to trash talk for the Broncos to win a game on Sunday. I mean, I gotta put on this show. I gotta, it's like say something. But what could I really say? I got a coach that's making mistakes, a quarterback who sucks, an offensive line that's Swiss cheese, and I'm here to try to tell you how we're going to beat the damn Chiefs. It works a whole lot better when when you've got a better record. It works better. And by the way, for anybody that's here watching stream, that's not why I'm not making Broncos videos, because the Broncos are losing. Look, we've been losing for the past 5 years. This is just way more interesting and way more important to me to of what's happened in this country and this election, and the history and where we're going from here, and trying to figure the game out. It's way more important to me than the football game or the Broncos or a video, because like a lot of people, you hear Raiders fans, I'm silver and black. You know what I am? I'm red, white, and blue. That's what I am. Now I'm a blue and orange Broncos fan second, but I'm red, white, and blue first. When I see that flag and I hear that national anthem, it means something to me. When I pick up my gun and I strap it to my hip, and I go walking up in the mountains and I got a rifle in my hand, it means something to me. When I can get on YouTube and I can say whatever I want, well, you can't now, but when things used to be where you could do that, or like on a blockchain where I can say anything that I want and I can't be taken down, it means something to me. I think that's worth defending. I think that's worth fighting for. I think that's a hill that's worth dying on. Because if you don't have that, what do you really got? I mean, probably I'm 50 years old. So let's say I make it to the national average of 77. How bad can things get in 27 years? Probably pretty bad, but I'm not going to see the worst of it. But it's worth defending for all your kinfolk, right? It's worth defending because this is a great country. There's a lot of opportunity here. If the game can ever be played square and the game could ever be played fair, there's so much opportunity here. There's so much vast wealth. There's so much resources. There's so much that USA has to offer. And all we've got to do is eliminate corruption for everybody to live in blissful joy. I mean, we need a benevolent, almost a benevolent dictator, but I don't want to say that because I don't want a dictator. I mean, I don't want Trump to be in office past 8 years. You can quote me as saying that. As much as I'm going to love the guy, even if he breaks all of this up and just destroys the deep state and has done all of these great things, and everybody's going to say Trump forever. I'm going to want him forever too in my heart. But the reality is that that's not the way this country works. So your 2 terms, and then you're done. Now, I know that there has been a presidents we've had run that have been served more than 2 terms. But I'm not for that because I don't like one family getting too much power and authority over this nation, and that's including the Trump family. Now, that doesn't mean that down the road I wouldn't vote for, a Don Jr. or Ivanka or somebody like that, but, or even Barron way down the road. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't vote, but I don't like, a family such as the Bushes and even the Kennedys that entrench themselves and their families so deep, because I think it's dangerous to the ideals of thinking in a republic. So I am for just 2 terms and get on down the road. And I wish we had term limits for a lot of these senators, because, for a person like Joe Biden to be able to stay on Capitol Hill for 47 years and commit as many crimes and tell as many lies and be as greasy and as dirty as he's been, and double talked and denied and just played dirty politics for the whole 47 years. I mean, it's sickening. It's damaging to this nation. And that's why Trump got a lot of votes, because he wasn't a politician, right? But people misunderstood what he was doing. They misunderstood that there are some deep, dark forces that have been in play, and they're wolves in sheep clothing, and they've been very good at hiding it, and they've had the mainstream media to frame it all up for them for the past 60 years, why it's really gotten bad. Because it really got bad. Like I said, I think that, this deep state was founded in 1913 on Jekyll Island, but I think it really accelerated with the birth of the CIA, which was just before the assassination of Kennedy. I mean, the CIA is a rogue organization that doesn't report directly to the commander in chief, but that military does. And that military is what you got to worry about, because it's a lot of people and they got guns, right? That's what you need on your side. And when you had Obama go in there and fire and can 500 generals in his 8 years, you don't think those guys were pissed and those guys don't want some revenge for how they were done dirty after all that they've given to this country? They did. And they had a plan in place to take this all back. And they got Trump as their point man to do it, because nobody's better at handling the press than DJT. And that's a fact, Jack. Anyway, so I'm looking for something Christmas Eve. That's why I thought it was very weird that Barr resigned the way he did. He didn't say, well, I'm resigning immediately. He didn't say, I'm resigning at the first of the year. Let me just wait till the first of the year. Like a lot of people do. I'm just going to wait till the first of the year and I'll do it. Or wait till January 20th. Biden's going to come in supposedly. So I'll just tell him, hey, I'm going to step down so you can, fill this seat yourself. I think that's only fair, that since, you're the new president, right? I'll just wait till January 20th until you're sworn in. And then that way Trump doesn't get to pick his guy and, do it that way. It shows you that he was a patriot. He was part of this. He's part of this takedown. He played his role. And that's why he wrote such a glowing letter and glowing resignation letter about Donald Trump and all of the things that he's accomplished and had to endure during his presidency and how dirty he's been done. No president's been treated worse than him. Nobody. And almost every president we've ever had has been a worse person than him, involved in way dirtier and shady deals than him, like real stuff, and they trying to get Trump for hooking up with Stormy Daniels, which she said was a lie, right? So, if you remember Stormy Daniels, her attorney, that Michael Avenatti, I mean, CNN was, look at this guy, what a brilliant man, blah, blah, blah. This is a guy that needs to run for president. CNN was telling you that Michael Avenatti, the attorney that was going to hang up Donald Trump over his affair with Stormy Daniels, that guy right now is in the same jail cell that El Chapo Guzman was in. The same cell, the one he dug out and escaped the whole thing. El Chapo? That's where Michael Avenatti is. CNN said this guy should be president. Nobody's going to walk away from this. Pain is coming. Pain is coming. Book it. Bank on it. Believe it. It's going to happen. Anyway, I think I'm going to cut it off right there. I appreciate everybody coming to the stream. Eric C., I see your message there. Thank you for that. Look, man, I know I've come at you a little bit, and I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to get you to maybe look at things through a different perspective, right? Your mind can be tricked, man. It can be tricked. And you have to sit back and think, man, was I tricked? Have I been conned? Because you never realize you got conned until after you get conned. And so I just want people to think about things in a different way and think, maybe I've missed this. Maybe I miscalculated. Let me rethink. Yeah, that kind of does make sense. And I hope some of the things that I tell you are making some sense to you, because the Civil War is happening right now. It's happening right now behind the scenes in front of our very eyes. And I just don't want you to miss it. This is the OG Bronc Nuts, 719, you know where, on the West, checking up out of here. Thanks for joining the stream, and I'll see you next time.